Thank you. Hello, everybody, all of you beautiful people out there on these unspecified moments where we just bring to you a resolution to benefit you all on some way on this planet. My name is Angela Miller, and this is the very, very strong Harrison.
Hello, how are you doing, everybody? It's fantastic to be here. Yeah.
So, as normal as before on any kind of live cast, we have a little discussion about the things that are occurring. So we've got quite an interesting few weeks ahead, resolving global situations amidst the propaganda that is being regularly foisted upon everybody in various forms, various restrictions. But we were just discussing how these things impact the soul and what kind of emotions do we experience? What kind of feelings does it make us feel as old souls on the planet who have seen it, lived it all before? It's very interesting, isn't it, Harrison? How
Yeah,
these things materialize.
yes, definitely. And I know the thing that
Souls
people
on
are
the planet who
gonna
have seen it.
the thing that the people are gonna relate with is like the way the government is overtaxing them. And
Yeah.
once it collect these taxes, the government is not using them to help the people, but is to either repay debt that the people don't know about,
Mm.
or creating wars and forcing the people to go into the military to go and fight these wars where the people don't want to go into some of these or to be drafted into some of these military services. And those are some of the things that are there, but it's a wide range of things that are happening out there, and it's pushing the people to the core, to the level where some of them want to give up and
Yes.
um, see that like there's no way out.
And then the soul begins to the process of being overloaded by all of these things, by the endurance of going through all the situations from emotionally damaging relations with people, families, the consistent slavery ethics of that everybody has agreed to on some level because they had to acquiesce to feeding themselves, their families, etc., etc. So, how do people cope in these scenes of violence, anger, aggression, but not only from the people in their lives, but from the community who are going through difficult scenarios, often with mental health issues and emotional overload, explosions of anger, sudden deaths because of pharmaceutical companies, and so on. All of this is quite shocking to the soul. And the soul is the one that bears the impacts and literally manifests them into human form until they can cope no more and they develop a chronic illness that will take them out of this reality. And it's such the greatest shame of all the eons is that the humans on earth have to endure this way of life to keep up with the little simple things that are being taxed by the karmic debt of governments and those that operate behind the scenes or the one that operates it behind the scenes. And it's a tragic scene, it really is. So the damage to the soul comes in many different ways because we're sentient beings. We feel everything that is going on around us in the body. We feel outside of the body. We feel it because it is transmitted in here. And once that becomes the predominant signal, it attracts more of the same, creates fear, which creates behavior changes in yourself and your immediate environment, and creates a position of limitation and lack of view and lack of belief, eventually wearing the individual down until they can take it no more. And we see this with increased suicide rates in young people, which is absolutely shocking. People taking their own lives because they can't afford to pay their karmic debt foist upon them again by a system that cares not or values human life. You cannot trust any government. You cannot trust completely anyone that tries to assume authority over your soul. And this is the bottom line. So, with this very unique spiritual court of equity, we're just going to open the doors and invite all souls who are overburdened with this karmic debt, repeating this cycle of ignorance and not being able to see. And this is why most people will be unable to heal themselves.
Yeah.
Because of intense traumas that they have lived and experienced. So I'm just bringing all traumatized souls from all traumatized lineages of Earth, 1,000 or so there, the soul groups. And there is tremendous anger here. Harrison, could you describe what you're feeling from the large swathes of people that are here in this moment, in this spiritual court of equity?
There's before I go to that, I'm also seeing like there are these contracts that are being drawn out of, and some of them they are bold in color stating that if you're not born in certain families or certain groups or certain families, the system is positioned in such a way that it has an upper hand on the way you act, think, do, or behave, or anything. And this is causing commotions, anger to the highest level, because on a deeper level, I'm being informed the soul knew this was happening. But on top of what they knew, they never knew there was another card where, it's very bad. But on that badness, there's the worst of the worst. And things would be changed, things would be drafted, and without even your free will or consultation or acceptance, things just started moving just aimlessly. Like, for example, you have been born in a certain lineage, and all of a sudden somebody believes in that area there are minerals, you have to be taken out. And as a soul, it will be very traumatic after just being born and you haven't even experienced anything on the planet in that lifetime. Then you are taken out. It's very traumatic for the soul. And it is a kind of traumatic experiences that majority of who are in this court are going through, where they were either taken out at an early age or their dreams were co-opted into whatever system's dream it decided to give to the people. And it becomes tough and it becomes sluggish for the soul to move on. It becomes heavy.
The body becomes heavy. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
And from all these things playing a lot of I think all things intertwining and interacting together, some of the soul choose to end their incarnation or others, yeah, and or others decide to give their 100% free will to the system, and they are taken over and they become like robots,
Yeah. And they
accepting the
sell
agendas of
out.
the system. Yeah.
They do. They sell out their families, they sell out their future generations because they've lost all sense of hope and lost all sense or even knowingness of free will. That is the level of disconnection that people on earth are experiencing. And that is a real shame. It is an awakening, but most people will have received poison into their bodies, which disconnect them from a higher spiritual nature of being.
Yeah. And also,
They did sell out
yeah.
themselves, their souls, and their futures.
Yeah. And also, those indigenous cultures that had stayed somehow like pure, I would say, they were co-opted into this because either colonization was sent to them, either they became parts of an empire that was spreading like wildfire somewhere, or either because of the digital kind of social or mainstream media that's there that's telling them the narrative,
Yeah.
and also the education system that was created to make sure that the oral cultures that were out there are no longer heard or expressed, and that knowledge it's dying at a higher rate, and the system believes from its position it has already won, but also on the other side, um they are not aware of the old cards that are out there, because these souls, as much as they have all this pressure, it's like they are sparkling within them. There's this creativity that's eager to burst out,
Mm-hmm.
but it's smashed every single minute by the heaviness that's being poured down from the system.
Yeah. So, what is the predominant emotion here in the souls?
One, it's a mixture: anger, anguish,
Yeah,
confusion.
yeah, devastation.
Yeah, that's the one, the devastation. It's like people are totally devastated, and where they are being told you can never win,
Yeah,
it's done. And you're given a little bit of hope, and once you clinch of that hope, and it's smashed. And there's nothing as when a soul becomes hopeless.
yeah, a hopeless soul. Wow, that is profound. That really is.
Yeah.
And we might even know some that have lost that hope. You will see the grey look on their faces, unable to bring forth their own light due to the levels of dense emotion in them and around them. So today, we would like to focus on those souls. And I'm just going to begin a soul healing process. Across time and space. And Harrison, as this process begins, if you could please describe what you're observing.
I just saw someone in the court. I think he was previously here looking over um, the uh, the um, the documents, because he has a very good understanding of the legalese language that's used to structure these contracts.
Yeah.
It's like he has heavy specs, and like there's a string coming from one side of the spec going around to the other side of the spec, and he looks quite old, and
Experienced.
yeah, and he's looking keenly and deeply into each and every single contract that's happening here, but there are several. It's like he has several duplicated parts of himself, like running through all these documents. And what's coming to the realization of all these souls is that yes, you had contracts as you are coming down onto this planet, but there are other things that you didn't want to happen to you that were added into that contract.
Exactly.
And nothing was told to you that this was done, which
Yeah,
was the first violation of your free will.
exactly.
And you have been carrying that debt up to this point, and that's where majority of the heaviness or weight is coming from, because you are carrying debt that's not yours, that you have no relation to,
And
but
it
you are
has
taxed.
determined their experience and taken you off track to where you should be, and diverted your attention so that you know nothing else. And then, as we talked about, giving up the hope of free will. So we're just going to get that process initiated through all soul contracts, all the insertions, all the manipulated inputs.
I was just being shown there's a group of ancestors here who I would call drummers. Like they have these huge drums, and whenever they beat these drums, it's like a rhythm coming from them, some kind of a frequency that's touching these contracts, and it's like they are burning off as we continue to speak. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So let's look at the ones that are being suppressed the most, and let's just focus attention there. So there's actually a really intense 30% of the soul groups that have been strongly affected here. And taken off purpose by various methods.
Yeah.
Whether it's soul theft, soul stealing, manipulation tactics from target groups, just getting all those in responsible, and all energies in responsible. And those that specifically set out to manipulate the free will of every living soul on the planet with this projection in time-space reality. There's big gasps and shock rippling out here. So that is going to be removed. And the resolving of karma is in operation. Harrison, if you could tell me what you observed, please.
As I look around, there are these like people who, it's like red I'm seeing, and I believe they signify the oppressors or something of the sort. And it's like they're insisting that all this is legal, and they're trying to show or prove to the court that everybody agreed to these contracts. And the funny thing is that they have this kind of reddish collar with black robes.
Attractive. Seen those before. Okay, just going to unmask them.
Yeah, and Also on the other side, as I look to the other souls that are here in the court, I can see a lot of them are crying. A lot of them feel this heaviness in their heart.
Yeah.
It's like they need this deep motherly love because they have been in this kind of very abusive relationship,
Yeah.
and they have been trying to get out of it, and it has been practically impossible because you're in a relationship with a narcissist, and he's using every single tool in the book to make sure that there's no way you're gonna get away from them.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm getting this feeling of Mother Earth having to embrace all this soul, giving them a deep, deep hug where it's like this tension. It's like she's picking it up from their hearts and to give them a shoulder to cry on and for them to heal, a moment to reflect back, to see, and also to understand that some of these decisions, it's because of the choices they made.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to be very, very aware of the choices they make.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm getting from the quote.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. So there are other energies of the feminine universal creator here coming through for all those women that need that support, all those men that need that support, and children in particular. And bear with us in these moments of silence, people, as we move volumes, large volumes of energies away from the souls and initiate a deep healing process. Where beautiful souls are affected by the griping of those that will infiltrate those lineages and disrupt the future generations with fear, terror, lack of trust, lack of security in this world. Affecting the function of the body, the words that are expressed, the chronic health conditions that are felt in the voices of all women, men, children, things that they will never speak about, that you will never hear about. And here, what is often underestimated in this world is the level of emotional impact that each soul has carried across time and should never be underestimated. And there are levels of this and levels within the auric structure, within the physical layers, and within the organs and the internal functionality of every human body. And every human body has this trauma, or ones that have been handed down to them through the DNA system, now interfered with by mechanical function and the RNA system. Yeah. And the disruption of this through pharmacological means. Some will feel, yeah, go on. I was just
okay, continue.
Yeah, I was just highlighting those that feel like they are dying from the inside, that need more assistance, but go ahead.
Okay, no, I was just saying, I was feeling this sense of like some kind of peace coming through to some of the souls that are here, like from this assistance that's being offered, because some of them were deeply, deeply wounded, and they really need a space and a place for this healing to come to them. And I'm feeling a sense of peace flowing to them, though it's a lot of work that needs to be done for them to be able to achieve the extent of peace that is needed. But
Yeah.
also what they are being reminded is that it requires effort, it requires work, and they need to be careful with the choices and decisions that are made.
Yeah. And it's from this point forward that choices and free will are your right, and always look to your heart to find the right ones. Even if your heart experiences pain, go down deeper, utilizing your intuition and your natural knowingness that you incarnated with. And time is a huge factor here.
Yeah.
Now we're doing really well here. We've achieved about 50% of resolutions, which is really good. And the other ones here that are remaining have been severely targeted. Not only by the system, but by other beings out there, other humans who carry profound malintent towards others. There is no escape from this, seen or unseen, conscious or unconscious. Ignorance is not an excuse. So those that put things in place for others to keep them off spiritual track, block, deny, or try and regulate somebody else's spiritual journey that is coming to the fore. There is tremendous amount of denial and arrogance. And those that organize this in consciousness for others are literally quaking in their boots.
Yeah.
The,
They
you
didn't
see
think they were
that?
gonna be seen. Yeah, they
Right.
didn't think they were gonna be seen. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting who you see from your own reality in those places.
I don't know why they believe by going and usurping, trying to destroy the other person, it's gonna help you achieve your quest. I don't know where that kind of belief came from.
I know. This is duality program. So many have been used to saying or living through duality, dark and light, and they have not achieved that balance in the non-physical reality. So it continues on and on and on. And the ego is fed in the human body, needing to drive forward their own personal agendas under the illusion of goodness.
Or the word, this is for the greater good.
Yeah. But really, they're just feeding their own ego. Because no compassion comes across from these beings. They are compassionless. So those qualities that they express in human form are the predominant drivers of their experience. If they are unable to be compassionate to anyone else, they are not being compassionate to themselves. So they will regulate their own self-torture from this experience. It's quite shocking when you get to these depths of the human psyche and what humans have become. So it's not all coming from the system itself, it's coming from the product of duality forced. So in the fifth time of the sun, fifth time of peace, there is no dual construct. We move beyond that and we operate from a higher place which connects into our bodies. Oh, I've just identified a few in the back row there that are very angry at me personally.
Yeah, some of these guys believe it's their right
Yeah.
to control others or to have their agendas. It's like
Yeah.
it's a
Sad, isn't
thing.
it?
The way it was being explained to me, it's when like these CEOs of big companies say that the customer doesn't know what they want. It's now the work for the company to dictate to the customer what they want. So that's why they go ahead and bring up these products, and then they sell the idea to the people. So what the groups that we are seeing here is that they
Yeah,
believe inherently the people
they
don't know
do.
what they want,
They
and it's up
do.
to them to create the future for the people and
Yeah.
then to sell it to the people once they have created the future.
Yeah. And all the frauds will be selling a load of old rubbish.
Yep.
And then just
And
everything speaks for itself.
yeah, and they will charge you an arm and a leg for their work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then often you'll find that they've only completed 50% of it, which is quite common, actually. You know, I get people contacting me, oh, this has happened, that has happened. Can we get to the depths of it, please? I don't like the outcome that I've experienced. You'd be surprised. So there's on the far right of the spiritual court of equity. Could you focus your observation in that section, please, and tell me what you're seeing?
I'm being shown like the way the parliament is, where opposition is one side and the people who are running the government, they're on one side. And the people of the opposition, it's like they are standing up and they are shouting to the people on the other who are running the government, because they have passed an agenda that they don't want. But because of the divide that is there, nobody is seeing eye to eye. And what I'm seeing is that it's not a it's not a big population or a big number. It's a small group, but it's like wherever they start screaming, it's like they are making this deafening kind of noise to gain the attention of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, once I look to them, it's like their own interests. They just want to pass it to the court.
Yeah. Do you know what is interesting after our discussion this morning, Harrison? Is
Yeah.
that a lot of these people have a white appearance. Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah, quite remarkable. It's like they believe the more whiter you are, the more closer you need to be bowed to or respected, or whatever term or to be treated like a king. And the more
That which is
you're
a
moving,
program complex of mechanical variety in itself, Queen and
yeah,
King complex.
yeah, and the more you are moving away from that whiteness, the farther away you are moving from this kind of royalty status to the periphery, where the people who are in the darkest region, they need to bend the knee, lie flat, like the way we see the Pope is, or these cardinals going to the Pope where they lie down and spread their arms and legs. This is how they're expecting to be treated, and
Exactly. When
it's a
meanwhile, behind the scenes, I see it time and time again, smiling faces with a big knife going into your back at the same time.
yeah, and it's like the person who came up with this program knew very well how this program was gonna play out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
Colonial thinking.
yeah, and the way they created the white men, or all these people, it's not like that they are bad, but it's like the overlords who are on top of or this ruling class
Yeah.
has gone all over the planet plundering,
Yeah.
creating enemies all over, reaching to the point where um, if tides were turned, they will not be experiencing a good life, or having a good experience, because they have made enemies all over. And this is what, and going on with the Hopi prophecies and the prophecies from our elders, and also what many of the people are speaking is this kind of civilization is coming down, and at some point the Chinese will be up, the Africans will be up, and their civilization will be going down. So at some point they will be looking for work among the people they despised, and it's not gonna be looking good for them, because those people are not gonna tolerate or condone some of the belief system they are creating right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just find it very interesting. So, this karmic turnaround, an acquisition of control, is usually seen from, let's say, a Eurocentric dominated arena of class, colour, and ethics, that they know best for all the people.
Yeah.
The roots and the origin are in these cultures, and everybody else is just bearing a response to this control hive mind.
Yeah, and they believe if you have a different thought from theirs, and it's something that's gonna destroy the agenda, they just take you out.
Or
That's the
attempt to.
philosophy. Yeah, that's the philosophy they run on, and it's like domination and control on steroids.
Basically. So that is being shown to every single soul.
But the funny thing that I'm also being reminded is that this grouping of people, it's like the way they portray to the people, it's like they're in oneness, but in reality they fight each other like crazy.
Exactly. It's
And
so unbelievable. It's
yeah,
true. Call me a cynic. Seen it all before. Nothing new has emerged to tell me anything else. And you
yeah,
see
and
it driven by this action that drives the physical form to do it.
yeah,
So those that, let's just focus in on those that will step and trample all over somebody else's spiritual journey for their own egoic means. Let's have you.
oh, they believe they are royalties.
It's like, my light is better than yours. My light is better than yours. Oh, good Lord. What are these people on? Oh,
Um,
it's called an elitist program that is riddled in saturated through the DNA. So I'm just going to do them a favor and get rid of that. This is boring. And
yeah, and
you
also
can see the amount of karma that's stacked up for these individuals. This, people say, oh, karma doesn't exist. We have no laws in the universe. Cause and effect. You cause it and the effect comes to you. It's really that simple. And that's in English. It's not using any kind of Sanskrit words or other types of linguistic spell. You cause something, something else happens. It is the movement in this universe,
yeah, like I'm
good
being
and
told,
bad.
yeah, like I'm being told, the crisis that we are seeing in United States where they are
Mm,
talking of immigrants coming into their country.
yeah,
The thing is that they don't want to go a step back and see what their country has done to these countries where these
yeah,
guys are coming from. They have killed their
exactly.
leaders. They have brought proposals where they have killed their economies.
Yeah,
And
all the Latin American countries.
yeah, and these
But yet they all
countries
still
cannot.
believe in the Pope. This is the bit I don't get. Just have all my spiritual power. Take it. You will
Yeah,
be my savior.
yeah, and it's like they have decimated all these cultures. And when some of the people from these cultures want to run away from whatever craziness is happening in their country to go to the country where they believe it's gonna be better for them and their families, they're now screaming on top of their voices, claiming, no, this is not right, this should not be happening.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. And you're asking, when why you guys were going there, taking their land, taking their minerals, and what do you think could happen? Do you think they were gonna stay back in their country and um just thank you for you destroying their economies?
all that, all that, you
Yeah,
know,
and
destroy economies, destroy community development, community infrastructures, destroy lives. No
yeah,
thought whatsoever. Let's just go and do this.
yeah. And the funny thing is that the top echelons or the people who did it, they're not gonna be affected by the karmic imprint that's coming. It's the people who ignored, who didn't care, who paid the taxes, who provided the finances that took the militaries back in the 60s and 70s and 80s to destroy and decimate these countries.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's them who are experiencing hard, first-hand experience because crime is happening in their neighborhood because of these immigrants.
Yeah,
Now talk of them being recruited into the military is out there, and there's a possibility the bill might pass. So it's kind of a crazy, crazy situation
yeah. It's
that's
all
that's present.
bargaining and deals, isn't it?
Yeah.
So look, I'm just going to invite all the elders of the stars to just come and support their lineages and future generations here.
I'm also getting this idea, these echelon or these guys who are controlling, who are
Mm-hmm.
believing themselves to be the elders. It's like false
Thank
elders.
you. That's right. And we've seen this time and time again for the last 20 years. False elders, you know, people, sorry, I'm just really passionate about this. False elders that do not have children,
Yeah.
do not have grandchildren, and can proclaim themselves to be wise with system ethics. I know, Harrison, is tedious. But do go on.
Yeah,
False elders.
yeah, it's like these false elders, they, they believe they own everything and anything that is there. And if it's not their ideology that's being implemented, they better have no ideology. It's either the way or the highway. And once now when you called the star elders, it's like, you guys were not here. We filled the vacuum. You need to obey or whatever.
It's like, yeah.
It's like this entitlement they have.
Exactly. So now the original fathers and mothers of the cultures do not accept this.
No. Nobody
Because it keeps a complete lid on the evolution of the race. I wish that they would see that. They cannot evolve under archaic values, morals, ethics, and codes. They can't do that. It's impossible for them to move forward. I witness this all the time.
they can't.
Right, everything's changing. Right, we've got a little bit of a tweak going on the left-hand side of the port. They're having a bit of problem in accepting this. Probably arrogant cultures out there. You know who you are. I know who you are. I swear this whole universe has been a complete comedy. Comedy of errors. Right. Okay, that's great. That's all going to move through now. Now, in particular, we've got this little right-hand corner of the spiritual port of equity that is interesting me because it's rigid. It's not moving. It's like it's got something holding it in place. What is holding that level of soul negativity in place in this universe? It's like a little black brick, rectangular, little clip on the side, attaching itself to cultures that have a potential to do something.
What I'm getting is that in reference to the cultures that we have currently on the planet, because for so long they have gone through this area where they were dominated over, they had the boots on their neck and things were not as easy for them. It's like they had lost hope. It's like they reached a point. I'm being told this scenario where if you beat someone so hard to the level that they no longer feel pain, it's now, it's like now they are just, yeah. And that's the same experience I'm getting here. It has reached that level where it was so painful that they numbed to the pain, and this thing continued on being hammered and being hammered. And these four elders kept on demanding more power for themselves, more power for themselves. And each time power was given to them, compression was taken out of these people and life was sucked out of these people. Like, I'm also being told, like, if you can go out there and look at these controllers, one of the things that's gonna make you identify them, it looks like life force is being sucked out of their body. It's like something is changing quite fast. And once you look at them, they are so pale. It's like they don't have a single drop of blood in their system.
They don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
They're that lost.
And that, I'm being told, that's one of the characteristics you would want to identify once you're dealing with some of these people. That's how they are right now. Yeah.
Mhm. So identifying the target groups, individuals and factions and races, dark lineages.
Yep.
Digital, transitional human here. So basically, they've been overrode with other forms of technology in their system. So if there's any of those that want to step forward in the future for sessions, private sessions, you're going to need them. There is, if you have any percentage of humanity or your soul left in you or your essence, I pray that you hear these words, come for resolution. We will be able to provide you with a support program to reconstruct the lineage light that you incarnated here with. We are seeing many, many, many issues that have come in and attacked you from the future setups, all that kind of stuff, you know, and maybe we just send that out there so that the humans manifest forth. But really, they won't hear us if there's anything less than 0.5 of a human essence there. If you have more than that, and if you are totally taken over, you will not hear us at all, which is sad. Target group can be dealt with, but the technology will remain in place that superimposes itself over your light technology. And your generational trauma will experience problems in the future. So the other thing that I am open to and taking bookings for is 1 week retreat activations and healings. We go through many processes that support your spiritual being on the earth. It will change your existence and reality in the beautiful, harmonic, healing place of Mexico. Do get in contact about that. If you would like to access your dream business that you carry inside you, your perfect spiritual function, do also get in contact as well. And also, as ever, private sessions for your own spiritual advancement on earth, offering you a radically different perspective.
Yeah.
And also do like, helps us in this draggy, archaic YouTube system on some level. Even hit that notification bell so you know when we're about to go live, because we are sporadic and do not work with fraud time scenarios here. So look, people on the right hand side, what's happening to them, Harrison?
It's like I'm getting some calmness in the court.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say order,
Mm-hmm.
where even those people who could not even get the idea or fathom the idea that whatever they were doing was not right, and
Mm-hmm.
people needed their free will and their freedom back. They are getting it right now, but it's not they are gonna accept it or they are not gonna obey it, but they already know the core has decided that free will must be obeyed. Also, the people who have been affected, it's like there's this special place that Mother Earth has created.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take time for them to go through this deep healing.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly but surely they are gonna be there.
Yeah.
Because it's like they are gonna be directed from one point to the next, to the next thing, to the next thing, until to the point where they can be able to be self-sufficient. It's like when somebody is coming from a very abusive relationship, the stages they go through before they're able to be free from that thought pattern that kept them entangled in that kind of a system. So but from us, I'm being told the court has done whatever it was supposed to do. up to this point, but things from another level are still being looked into.
Yeah. The target groups have been dealt with. And now all it is people's free will and choices in this time-space reality, knowing that what you do, everything you do, say, emit from this transmission system that is your body is your responsibility, unconscious and unconscious, and should be, for the maximum results, coming from the heart. If this is not wholly possible, then this is the inner work that you need to focus on from that. Heart, heart, soul, heart, soul, heart, soul, heart, and free will.
Yeah.
And the desire for your soul to succeed on its mission.
Yeah, and I'm also being told that staying on the sideline and pretending nothing is happening, and you are giving your energy to the system, either financially or through whatever thing. You're gonna voice your thoughts into some of these agendas that are being put out there and fight them with the ways that are provided within your countries or whatever systems that you are working within them, and make sure that free will is being honored and obeyed, because some of these controllers believe they own you.
Yes.
They are your thoughts, and whatever idea they want to implement, doesn't matter what you do, they will still implement until you yourself you start voicing and fighting.
Saying no.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily even need to fight, just don't comply.
Yeah,
don't
that's
get
the word.
involved with all of that. Don't give it your attention continually. Non-compliance is where it's at. Somebody else's rules over your experience. Nope. Just because the herd is doing it doesn't mean you have to. And the chances are, if you're watching this, you're a black sheep anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Just because everybody is putting a TV set on their forehead doesn't mean you too have to put the same thing on your forehead.
Exactly, because that just makes you malleable.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that, really. I'm sure of it. Just do your own thing. Use your free will wisely. So lovely people. Get in contact, leave a comment, etc. Connect. Let us know what changes you want to see. Let us know what changes you want to see in yourself. And we shall take it from there. All right.